some decent weather. Let's go into the shed. Cleared a bunch of space in the shed. Now we can actually do some work on the car. First up today, we're going to look at brake upgrade. One of the things I had to do to get this car engineered with triple the factory horsepower was upgrade the brakes. And strangely enough, there's not a lot of brake upgrades off the shelf for this car. The only vented disc I could get that bolts on, which is a MG Metro Turbo from the UK. And the way these discs mount is different to modern discs in that they bolt through this drive flange here. So there's 4 bolt holes that go on the back, and that's what mounts the disc, as opposed to modern ones which slip over. And then to get a better caliper on it, I managed to find these at the wreckers, which are, weirdly enough, Renault Clio caliper that actually bolts on, and that fits over the Metro Turbo disc. They brake okay. So the braking power is adequate and at past engineering, but could be better. So that's what we're trying to tackle today. Fitting a booster to this car is really annoying. So I'd rather stick with unboosted brakes, but just get some more leverage. So that requires a bigger disc. And after years of trying different combos, I've come up with something that I hope will work and won't cost me $1 million. So after much reading of the DBA catalogue, I found these bad boys. The original brakes on this are roughly 200mm, and they're only 9mm thick or something. They're tiny. The Metro Turbos are at least vented, and so they're 20mm thick. So I wanted to keep the 20mm thickness if I can, because there's no need to go to crazy thick brakes. This car only weighs 800 kilos. So after much scanning of the DBA catalogue, I came up with this. And this is Ford Econovan, but it's flat, so I can make an adapter to bolt onto there. And I'm hoping that you can see how much bigger that's going to be. Basically, we're going from 8-inch to 10-inch brakes, and there's a chance I might be able to use the same caliper. So that's what we're going to try today. Here's one that I prepared earlier. I've modelled up this adapter in CAD software, and of course 3D printed it, as is my specialty. So what I want to do now is just whip this off, drop this on, and see how it fits with the rest of the suspension. Annoyingly, to get the disc off, the whole drive flange has to come off. Here's the comparison in size. See how much extra diameter we get. Inch all the way around, strangely enough. And so, hopefully, my calculations are correct. And we end up with this matching this. So this should, in theory, go like that. Great things about Fusion 360 is you can model threads, and then they come out in your 3D print. All I did was run a tap down these. And look at that, just screws straight in. Now obviously the final, braking, strangely enough, PETG filament is not strong enough to be part of my braking system. But how cool is it to be able to just draw that up on the computer and do a test fit? just like that, 2 inches bigger brakes. Tons of room around the outside. There's still nearly an inch gap between there. Look at those pads. Part of the reason my brake upgrade is not ideal because it's just missing the edge of the disc there, so uneven pad wear is sort of a given, but you can see how hot these got at Winton last time I did a track day. Part of the reason we need better brakes. And as well as getting bigger discs, bigger calipers is another upgrade. Now these are Mazda RX-7 calipers. I'm pretty sure these will work with my existing master cylinder. This guy is actually not too far off. Close, but it's not touching. I think we're going to call that done. So now I've just got to send this piece and this piece to get them machined out of 70-75 aluminium. This package has arrived in the mail, so stay tuned as we see if the machining capabilities of JLC PCB are as good as I hope they are. And very well packed. You know what? I hate unboxing videos. Let's just cut to the chase. Ooh, fancy. Man, they look even better than I imagined. That is freaking amazing. So these are machined out of 70-75 aluminium and hard anodized black, clearly. There's my 3D printed mock-up. Man, that is really nice. I mean, hopefully they're all in spec and everything, but looks alone, they feel beautiful. That's just quality work. I should have got more radiuses. I was worried it was going to blow out the machining time, but the radiuses on the edges here and stuff are just beautiful. Oh, that's got me stoked for the other half. All right, let's see how the other bit goes. new camera tonight too, so hopefully I can stop cropping my head out of every shot. It's funny, I've been looking at them in CAD for so long, I was half expecting them to be blue because they come up. Trying to find a blank background for you. Like, I'm no machinist, but they have done such a beautiful job of these. It's amazing what you can do today. Stoked. So I've just grabbed a disc to test. This has my mock-up 3D printed brake bell on it. Let's see how. Moment of truth, please fit. Looks pretty sweet. There's my extremely dirty RX-7 calipers, and they mount using this adapter, which bolts on like that to convert the bolt pattern from Mazda to Morris. And so while it's going to be very cramped in there, sorry the light is terrible in here, I'll get some better shots of those tomorrow, but for now, super stoked that has worked. A brake upgrade for a car that this stuff doesn't exist for. Now you can just draw it on your computer and get it made in beautifully machined aluminium for very reasonable prices. Love this. There'll be more of this to come. So we're taking the old discs off. This is the old Metro Turbo disc. Weighing that comes in at, see that, 3.74. And the old caliper with pads, 4.35. Now, so that's the new disc and bell. I've got to Loctite all those, but it comes in at, the bolts are tipped over 4.9. So it's a fair bit heavier. I guess that's to be expected, being so much larger. So the new caliper bolts to a new adapter. And this being aluminium, so the new caliper weighs about as much as the old disc. And the new disc weighs slightly more than the old caliper. So it looks like actually only increased mass, unsprung mass, by about 600 grams, which is not bad given what I'm hoping will give us a considerable increase in braking force. Okay, now we're going to Loctite all these bolts. So yeah, I haven't done too much work with these old pads, but absolutely roasted them. The paint is blistered, which is, I've never seen that before. These are my special low cap head bolts. There we go. Got everything bolted up. So looking good. I got a better angle by just kinking that brake line a bit slightly. That's perfectly fine to do with those fittings. I'm happy with how it's all looking. Now I'm just going to bleed it. Easiest way to solo bleed brakes I found is this. It's a cap with a captive bleed line fitted to it. That screws into here. We'll top that up first. By far the easiest way to bleed brakes by yourself that I've come across. I don't have a fancy pressure bleeder or anything like that, but this just makes so much sense. So with that screwed on there, that's held. We just take the other end of the line. Fit it to our bleeder. The bleeder cracked, I can just go push the pedal and watch the magic happen. I was unaware here that the brake fluid was leaking from where the hose joins on, but I figured it out eventually. And I managed to get it to stop leaking by just tightening up the hose fitting. But as you can see, when you pump the pedal, the bubbles still come out as per normal. The difference is from the driver's seat, you can see the bubbles heading back into the master cylinder. And when you see no more bubbles, your brakes are bled. Let's go. I have a nice firm pedal, and with it propped, it means I can use the brakes to tighten up these, which go to be really, really tight. I'm running out of stuff to do under here. I think it's time for wheels on and a test. In an effort to be a touch scientific for once, I did some testing before I'd started altering the brake system. So with my iPhone running a G-sensor app magneted to the dash, I went out and did some hard stops with the car just to get sort of a baseline of where the braking system was at. And so then I can go and try and repeat that with the new calipers and discs on to get some idea of what, if any, improvement I've managed to get. And the aim of today is to test the performance of the current brake setup, so I have something to compare to once I fit my upgrade. I'll go with it in 60 k's an hour, hard stop. 1.1G, I'm locking up the left rear for some reason. 80, 2.8. With a lot of tyre smoke. I reckon that's about it. And that was about it. The best I could get was 2.9 with the old setup. The best I managed with the new setup, which I didn't video, was 3.1. So a slight improvement. I think the issue I have is the pads that I have in the RX-7 calipers are slightly random. They're just what came with them when I bought them. So I'm going to order some new pads. And that's the brake upgrade finished. The only thing I've got left to do is paint them red. There we go. A whole bunch of work for a hint of red peeking out from the wheels. And vastly improved stopping power.